Good morning, everybody, and good morning. Hello, everybody. How are we all doing today? It is Sunday night. It is time for our live show. Just haven't put my ears in quickly so I can actually hear myself and make sure that everything is sounding good. How are we all doing? Hope everyone out there is keeping themselves nice and warm. This cold snap certainly has made a big difference. And one of the things that I found when I was setting this live show up, I left this jug of water in here a few weeks ago, and I've just left it, to be honest. And if I come to the overhead, you'll see, and you can hear, it's frozen. It's frozen inside this shed, and I've actually put the heater on. What was it? About 12 o'clock earlier today to try and warm this place up. But all good fun, isn't it? All good fun. How are we all doing? Now, we're going to be making some Christmas wreaths today. This was, first off, the inspiration came from our good friend, Mr. Stuart Jackson. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Let's find out if anybody is actually out there and watching and viewing. Hope the images coming through the images coming through okay, and the sound, because I've adjusted or made a change to the sound. Adrian is out there. Good evening to you. Hope you are well. Ballycillian is out there. Good evening to you. Turbo Stream is saying good evening, veg podcasters from a cold and snowy Birminghamshire. Turbo Stream also, said Turbo Stream. He goes on to say, isn't technology amazing? We've just been watching a live stream of the NASA space capsule re-enter Earth's orbit from what, isn't technology amazing? If only it could warm things up. Ballycillian says, freezing hard here in Belfast. Philly says, hello, everyone. Good evening to you. What else have we got? Oracle is out there. Is it just me, or did everyone do their research on the reef? Hopefully we're all prepared. I know somebody out there certainly has done some research. Rebecca, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Hargrave Gas, evening all. Hope you've all had a good week and aren't too frozen. Kate Spratt, good evening, Veg Army. Good evening to you. Anna Jones is saying hello, gardeners. Good evening to you. Stuart Jackson, evening, Richard and the Veg Army. Hope everyone has stayed safe in the snow. What else have we got? Oracle says, I have Stuart. It was deep at the allotment, but it called off play, unfortunately. Indeed. Nicola, Cornish Heaven, evening all on this chilly Sunday. Good morning, indeed. My dad's joined and said, good morning. Stuart Jackson, what time did you get up, Richard, if you think it's morning? I got up about 6:30, believe it or not, but for some reason I just said good morning, and I don't know why. Andrew Norris, evening all. Good evening to you. Nicola tucked up under the duvet with electric blanket on, as no heating in his house. How awful. Please do keep yourself warm. Weird noise just happened there. What else have we got? Toby Stream, that's cold for Littlehampton. It's what we get in Midlands sometimes. In all honesty, I got in my my camper van yesterday to go up to Essex, and when I left, it was -5. I've never seen that temperature outside here on the south coast. I'm literally, as I said, 10 minutes walk from the sea. We get a warming effect. I've never known it to be that cold. We even had snow today. Didn't set, but we did have snow. What else have we got? Stuart, I started making willow snowmen now. I will post a photo later. Please do. We'd love to see it. Lot mental. Oi, 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 indeed. Digwell, I will be liking this week, I reckon, as I have a wreath made from old red and green tea towels that I use every year. Excellent. I do love the use of reusing things and things that have been recycled, especially at the moment with so many people struggling, and I'm trying to make sure that everybody can feel included at the moment. Phone line is open 07307 135 174 if you want to call in, or if you want to zap in, let me add the link to the comments. Get rid of that and get rid of that. So, shall we recap on what Stuart sent us last week on how we can make our Christmas wreaths? So, two parts of this video. We'll start with the first part, and then we'll come back with the second part.
Is it red? Yeah.
Yeah. Willow wreath. All you got to do is the willow is work and then make a circle to start with, and then like I'm trying to do it as quick as I can, and then the second piece small end or thin end, and then that all you're doing is using the stick like a needle. Again, thin end. You're going to do this for 4 or 5 pieces. I'm going to stop.
So that was the first bit. Let's have a look at the second bit.
And then that's 4 pieces. I'll do one more, and then you get the gist. And you get the idea. And I want to see everybody's evidence on the Veg Grower podcast a week Sunday. You just treat it like a needle, and then you just carry on going until you get about that thick, and then you can put your ivy and your willow and your holly in there. Okay, thank you.
So there we go. That's how we start our wreath off. Did everybody get that? Everybody okay with that? And has everybody... Well, let me know if you're going to be making your wreath along with us tonight. So I have been out and I've got some hazel that I'm hoping we can make this thing with. And I'm just looking. This bit might be a little bit unflexible on the top here. Yeah, I think we're going to have to cut that down. Luckily, I've got my pair of secateurs to just trim that down. Now, what Stuart showed was a bit of a turning it into a circle. This is going to be a very small wreath for me, but never mind. There we go. Hopefully, that is going to come together. I see Digwell is saying, I wish I had some willow. I'm actually using hazel just because it needed a prune anyway, and I wanted to make sure that we could use what we had available to us. So it's not brilliant. I'm going to trim that little piece off. I'm only making a small one. There we go. I'm only making a small one, so that's the size of it. I can bring it up on the overhead if you want to have a closer look. It's not quite a circle, but it will do. What has Turbo Stream said? I enjoyed some of my veg for lunch: roast tatties, parsnips and sprouts, followed by rhubarb and blackberry crumble. Sorry, indeed. Stuart says if you keep your hazel or willow in a bucket of water, this helps make it easier to use. Well, I wish I'd known that before, but I know for next time. So next stage is that we're going to add a few more bits of hazel to this to try and weave it around into, let me get this right, to try and weave it into more of these circles. Now, this is not going to be easy at all, I don't think. Let's try. It might be better on that camera. We're getting there. This isn't, the thicker ends of this isn't quite as flexible as the rest. I'm worried about snapping it, but we'll do our best. We will do our best indeed. So anybody else joining in? Like I said, Turbo Stream is saying no willow or hazel neither. Would raspberry canes do? I'm guessing so. I'm guessing I think anything that can be flexible and whippy and what have you will do the job. I'm guessing. This is the first time I've ever done this, so Stuart Jackson is the expert. I'm going to cut that bit off because it's a bit too hard to try and twist round. It's coming together though, I've got to say. Yeah, so Stuart Jackson is a person to ask if what else we could use from willow or hazel. Nicholas says no willow here either. She used Leylandi last year. Digwell, my grandkids make a perfect one with twigs they found on their walk. No idea on the wood. I think as long as it's flexible, any wood will do. As long as it's flexible, I think that's the key thing, making sure it is flexible enough to weave into a circle. I'm going to carry on. I've got another piece of this twiggy stuff here. I'm going to try thick end first this time, I think. No, I'm not. I'm going to stick with the thin end. This is all from one of my hazel trees I have out in my garden. This is actually meant to be a twisted hazel I have. And unfortunately, in order to keep a hazel, it didn't work. In order to try and keep a hazel in its sort of twisted nature, every now and then it pops up some straight branches. And we've got to prune those out, which is why I wanted to use hazel for this. Added to that, I mean, I quite like hazel anyway. One, we get hazelnuts from my one I have on the allotment, but two, we when we prune it, we also get some nice hazel sticks for use in the for growing plants up in the summer, in what have you, such as bean sticks and pea sticks, which I think look much more attractive than bamboo, in my opinion. Which is why I'm a big fan of hazel. There we go. That one's come together quite nicely. This is starting to feel really rigid, I've got to say. Very, very rigid indeed, which I'm rather pleased with. Oracle was saying, could you get a bit more in-depth to with which type of willow and where to cut? I tried to phone, but it's off. Phone is on. I thought I'd fixed this. I'll try again in a minute. Alison O'Brien says, evening all, it's very snowy here in East Grinstead. Hope you're all warm. Yeah, it's very cold here in Littlehampton. It's very cold, even in this shed. I've got my oil heater literally around my legs down the bottom here to try and keep me warm. Stuart Jackson, sorry, senior moment, forgot to say about the water. If you gently bend the whips a little bit at a time, it's slow and steady to win the race. You can use honeysuckle or any climbing plant. So let's see, we're talking of the person himself. Let's see if this is going to work this week. Hello, my friend.
Hello, Rich. Yeah, you're doing a grand job, mate. You're doing a grand job.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing my best. It's something I've never done before, so I'm quite grateful for this to give it a try.
I've been making them about 15 years, so yeah, you got a little bit catching up.
Has it frozen on everyone else, or is it just me?
Have I frozen again? Is it just you, Rich, or is it the whole? Hello, I'm still here.
I don't know what's going on. Was that me or you?
I don't know. I'm still moving on my screen.
Okay, that's probably me again then. I know I've got a poor signal tonight again, so yeah.
Yeah, anything, you know, I've used in the past, I've used hazel, I've used honeysuckle, anything, any sort of climbing plant that you want to prune over winter. You can use, it's just keeping it supple. So it's about moving what's left of the sap in the whip along the wood. So you just sort of keep bending it a little bit at a time, and then it should turn into a letter C. And when you get C, then it will bend into itself.
Oh, okay. So anything else could be used that is pliable and bendable. So somebody suggested, was it raspberry canes?
Yeah, anything as long as you can bend it and it's supple. I should have said this in last week. The best thing to do is cut it when you're going to use it. So the later you cut it, as soon as you cut it, use it, or put it in a bucket of water to keep it supple. But I've got 7, 8, 9-year-old kids doing it, so it's not hard. It's just getting the right wood, getting the right flexibility.
Yeah.
So it's just practice. That's all it is. It's just practice. And
Right.
you will break a few. You will, and I break ones. I break them all the time. You get frustrated. You chuck it down, but I never chuck the little bits away, because
No.
in the like after Christmas, when you take your wreath down, you can put a stick through the middle with an apple on it as a bird feeder.
Ah, that's a good idea, because I was wondering if this would last for more than one season.
Oh God, yeah, that I've got one in. My daughter's got one in her bedroom that's probably 7 or 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
And the wood changes colour, especially hazel. Hazel will change to go a nice colour. I'll
Oh,
see if you can
fantastic.
see. I don't know if you better see my snowman. I'll turn the camera around.
Oh, wow.
You see that?
Yeah, that's so cool.
So it's just basically three willow circles tied together. So,
Oh, wow.
and then just put some lights on. It's just experimenting. You can make stars. You can make stars are really complicated. I will say that. And I only ever use string that can go in the compost bin. So it's not that strong, because you know what, if you buy the cheap stuff from the paint shop, it falls apart in your hands, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. If you're lucky, I can sometimes snap it just by pulling it.
Yeah, it's what you want. It's want biodegradable string if you're going to use string. But if you're using hazel or willow, you shouldn't need any string.
Right. Well, I think that'll depend on what we're using to tie as decorations.
As you keep going, you make it as thick as you want it. So then you pack what you want into it. So if you stuffed it with moss, or you could just put lengths of holly or lengths of ivy into it. And they don't need. You just put your finger in to make a little hole, push it in, and then tighten it back up again.
Oh, right. Okay.
Really quite simple.
That sounds a bit simpler than I was imagining. But as you can say, I'm on the last piece of hazel that I've got today. As you can see, I mean, it's not a perfect circle, but
you can keep working that. If you use your hands, it will turn into a circle. If you keep moving it around your hands and just use it as hand exercise.
Right.
It's called finger gym. So it's basically we do it to strengthen the children's hand. That's why we do it. There is a reason behind it.
So if we keep moving it into a circle, you reckon it will make a circle?
And you just cut off the bits you don't want, or you leave the bits on and put a bit of ribbon on them. You know, it's.
Yeah.
So then you can just hang it and put on whatever you want. Some people, the kids will take them home. Some parents will spray them with their blooming toxic paint. But I try not to do that. I try to keep everything as natural as I can.
Yeah. You know what? I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to cut that bit off there.
Okay. First attempt, that's amazing.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
First attempt, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Our adults make.
I'm pretty happy with that, I've got to say.
You do another couple, you would have them perfect. Honestly, it is that. You've made it look easy.
I was surprised just how easy it was. I haven't practiced at all. I just wanted to try and do it live and just see how easy it was. While you're here, let's see if there's any questions and see if there are. So Turbo Stream says, only thing I could probably use is fuchsia whips. Would that do the job?
Yeah. I can't see why not.
Yeah. Let's see.
Go for. I shouldn't say this live on air, but go for a walk. You'd be surprised what's going in hedgerows.
Yeah. Oh, I can believe that, especially at the moment. And I have used dogwood cuttings in the past, and it's a nice colour. I can believe that.
Dogwood is really good because it's really flexible, and you can keep that in a bucket of water for ages, and it will root as well. It's like willow. If you whop it in the ground, it'll root.
Yeah. Willow's quite well known for that. You could actually make a paste out of a willow as a rooting hormone.
Yeah, and willows. I think is it willow that's they derive anodin from willow, didn't they?
I
Is it
think it was aspirin.
aspirin? Yeah, that's it.
Anybody else? Anybody else who's got anything aimed at you? Ian Benno says, "Evening, Stuart Richard. Sorry, I'm late. I've been rewatching the 1940s House."
Oh, yeah. Well, you may be able to remember it. I can't go that far back.
Yeah. Oracle asks, "What type of willow tree would you use?"
Now you're getting technical. Or I have got a willow circle at school, like a story circle, and I use what I cut off when we prune it. So literally, any bit I cut off, and there's on the way to work. If they don't cut it this week, I'll be cutting a few of them on the way to work because there's willow coming out of the hedge.
Yeah,
it's nice and thin, and the thinner the better, really. To start off. You want a nice couple of thin ones, and then you can, gradually weave in the thick stuff.
Yeah.
But your hands will be tired. Because after an afternoon of doing them, my hands are really aching.
Sure. Well, we're only making the one tonight, but I think we've got a good start now. I'm really happy with that. I've got to say, I'm really pleased how easy that went together.
That's Amanda's Christmas present sorted.
Yep, exactly, and she's going to be grateful for it.
Yeah, and that you can pay people go on courses for them. Go for an afternoon to make them, and it's like 45 quid a time. You see how easy it is.
Yeah, I know somebody has been on a course. You might have seen it in the group.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. They are great. If you like that sort of thing, that's a great thing to do, and I do. I'd rather go for a walk with my secateurs in my pocket. And a little carrier bag to get my holly and my ivy, and then so that's what I tend to do.
Yeah.
I'm not advocating, but just borrow a few cuttings. That's all you need.
Yeah. Rebecca says, "Do you like to add dried flowers?"
I don't, but I know people when we make them at school, they put all sorts on them. Dried flowers is a really good one.
Yeah, I like that idea.
My daughter's is as plain as that one you've just made, and it's been in her room 6 or 7 years.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to add a few decorations to ours in a minute to try and jazz it up a little.
Have I frozen again yet?
No, you're fine. I can see anyway.
It might be just a matter of finding the right place in the house then for the new year.
Yeah, where we can dry that out.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Now I've seen your work, I can go. My job is done.
Well, it's not quite finished yet. We're going to add some decorations. So this is where the real judgment comes in.
I'm not arty, so you'd have to get somebody else to ring in and show you how to do that bit.
Yeah, I'm not arty either. So, yeah. Excellent. Thank you very much, Stuart. That's much appreciated.
See you soon. Take care, everybody.
All the best. I've got to say, Stuart, this was a good test as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I'll speak to you next week.
Have a good one. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye. So there we go. That was Stuart Jackson, and it worked. We managed to see and hear him pretty much the whole time. I quickly jumped over a few comments during that time. There was one comment I saw. Adrian was saying hello to Richard Golden. Unfortunately, I haven't seen anything from Richard Golden. So if you're out there, apologies, mate, but lovely to see you. Hope you are well. Again, likewise, if I do miss anybody, please don't be offended and just leave a comment and I'll try and sometimes I don't see every single comment, but I try and make sure I say hello to everyone. Turbo Stream says it's like Blue Peter all over again, except I haven't made this before. I've made this right in front of you guys. I've used up all the hazel I've got, but I'm really pleased with that. I've got to say, I am really pleased with how well that has gone down well. Ernie has joined. Evening, Richard and viewers. Are you still out in the garden and allotment? It snowed here in our hamlet in deepest Dorset. It's so picturesque. Love to see a picture of that, Ernie. We did have a bit of snow. It didn't settle, but a lot of frost here, and it is very cold. What's the temperature in this shed at the moment? I've got a thermometer. It's 5 degrees. Let's see, actually. That might be better. I don't know if you can see that better on that one. There, it's 5 degrees here. It's cold. It's cold. Right. What else have we got? What else have we got? Any other comments? Rebecca says you can get loads out of your gun. I've dried some poppy heads for mine. That's a good idea. I've got some poppy heads on the allotment that it's meant to have dried. So I could have used that. Turbo Stream, just thinking I have some ivy growing on my hedge. I could use that, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I've never done that before, but that would have been an idea. Ourselves is meant to be the best from Oracle. Not sure what that is. Kate says the workshop I did was with a local horticultural society. It was £7.50 bargain. The fruit I dried myself at home. It makes the house smell amazing. Indeed, yes, yes. Richard Goldman, I'm here, cold here. Apologies, didn't see you were there. Yeah, it's cold here as well. I know how you feel. Oracle, can you use cuttings from a pear tree? It needs trimming. I'm guessing you can. If it's supple enough, I'm guessing you can. I like this. I'm going to make some more of these at some point. But we want to add a bit of decoration to this, don't we? So what have I got that I could use to try and jazz it up? I'm not an artistic person. I'm going to say this right at the very beginning. I'm not very artistic. So I probably make a complete and utter meal out of this, so feel free to tell me. I've got a few bits of ivy that I thought might go down quite well in here. If I can let me bring it on the overhead. If I can just try and squeeze them in to add, that's not gone too badly actually. Let me get rid of that comment as well. Stick this one in here as well. I was going to be using some sort of dried fruit, a bit like a picture I've got coming up. We've dried orange slices in the past, but when I went to find our dried fruit, I couldn't find it. So I poo-pooed that idea. Now, let's come back to that one. So far, I've got 2 bits in. What do you think? Do you think? I think that bit needs to come around a little bit more. Let's see if we can get that in just a bit tougher. There we go. How about that? How about that? What do you think? Is that look all right, or shall I cut that off? I do have one more bit, which I might just stick in the bottom here. Again, let's bring that on the overhead and see how it goes. Ugh. Some of this ivy I've noticed is getting a little bit frostbitten from all the cold frost we've had. So there we go. So it's got some ivy in there. It's coming together actually. I'm quite happy with it. What have we got? Ian says we had a very cold night and enough snow to close Manchester Airport for 3 high yesterday. My begonias suffer. Will they recover for next year? I think they will. I think they will recover, Ian, but keep a close eye. Good thing with begonias is they are pretty hardy. How cold did it get down to where you are? My next question would be for that. Stuart over on Facebook says ivy is really good for wreath making, but remember to cut it long. So that's good. And Ernie is asking, how do you keep your shed warm for this show? As I just turned in, I may have missed your answer to the viewers. I've got a little oil radiator I put in here a few weeks ago when it started to get a little bit too cold, which I turned on earlier. It is insulated, this shed, but it's just needs something to warm it up in here. So I've added this little oil radiator, which I'm pretty much sitting on to try and keep myself warm, especially my hands. And that's it. That's all it is. Gone are the days when I used to do this inside my house when I was nice and warm. Anyway, back to these decorations. Now, I just realised I've left these in my pocket. A few other things that I thought we might add. I'm trying to stick. Obviously, the Veg Grower podcast, I'm all about growing food, and that's my principal thing. So I felt this needed to incorporate some food. So what I've got here is some nutmeg, some whole nutmegs, which I thought they might, if we can get them into this. Let's see. Let's see. Will that squeeze in? I don't think it's going to squeeze in. Not going to squeeze in. So we spoke about string earlier, but I had some garden wire. I've got so much of this stuff that I feel I need to use it up. So I thought I would use some garden wire to tie everything in. So cut a little piece off, and it's disappeared. Let's try again. Another little piece. Cut it off. Right. Oracle is saying, what's happening with the phone line? Am I blocked? No, you're not blocked at all. Nobody's blocked. I thought I had fixed it. Let me try turning off the, because it's an iPhone. Let me try turning off FaceTime and all that. I think it is turned off, actually. Oh, hang on. It's got no service. That's why you can't get through. There's no signal. That's weird. Let me try putting it into airplane mode. That'll explain why it's not working. And let me turn the Wi-Fi off. Right. Let's see if it finds a phone signal now. As I was saying, nutmeg. I'm going to put some nutmeg into it. Ian says it was -3 in the garage before last night's -6. That's cold. That's cold. Let's say -5 here, which is pretty unheard of. You can use anything that will bend, says Stuart. One thing to remember is to cut longer than you need. You can always cut it off the offcuts. Excellent. And Tobo Stream says 5C in the shed. Blimey, you are hard, Richard. I'm used to cold. I'm a fridge engineer after all, and I work in some pretty cold temperatures. The worst ones has always been the airplane testing equipment. Anyway, let's try and get this nutmeg to hold in place. So I've got this little piece here. I may not use this, may not keep this. I'm just going to see how it looks. If it works nicely, that is. Let's try and put it round here and tie it together. I'll put it a bit more and twist this string together. No. Let's see. So the phone's still got no phone signal. That is weird. Let's try turning the phone off and on again. Oh, hang on. Let's bring this back up. Sorry. Let's try turning the phone off and on again and see if that makes any difference. Right, so nutmeg I'm using to try and add a bit of decoration. Is that in there solid? Let's bring this up. Bring that in there solid. That seems pretty solid. So let's add another bit of nutmeg just there. And again, we'll go for with the garden wire to twist it around and underneath and see what happens. Let's bring that up. Let's get rid of that comment. So I've put this one here, and what I'm doing is putting the wire around the bottom underneath the whole wreath. Ow. Any trouble with ivy, of course, is that it's quite prickly, and when you catch your hands on it, it hurts. So let's try and twist that into place. That seems to be holding it as well. So there we go. We'll tidy some of this up later. See what it's like when I hold it up. Come together nicely, isn't it? Let's have a quick look on the comments. Oh, can you use WhatsApp? I don't know. Oh, I don't know what's going on. Apologies. Let me show you. Let me show you the phone. It's right here. The phone right here, but as you can see, hopefully you can see somewhere here. There, no service. So I think that phone's died. So I will take that off and see if the signal comes back. Wrong one. So this is not coming together very well tonight. Let's quickly, I meant to say the best time to make wreaths is in the spring, as the wood is more flexible, but making Christmas wreaths with children in April doesn't have the same appeal, says Stuart. Yeah, I have to agree. It does make sense. I mean, I think again, what I'm all about, or trying to get across, is that we need to use our gardens to do these sort of things and make some more interesting stuff. Now, talking of everybody else's gardens, do we want to have a look at some pictures? So, we've got a few pictures that have came in over this week. Now, we spoke about Kate, who has been on a natural wreath making course, and this is what she made, and this is a better picture actually. She's made one for home using holly, ivy, looks like some yew in there, some dried fruit, privet bush by the look of it as well. All looks absolutely stunning, but she also made one for the allotment as well. So again, looks absolutely stunning, I've got to say. I like these pictures because that was exactly what we're going to be talking about or doing this evening. Now, she's also shared, she went down her allotment yesterday after a possible scare with theft, but one of the pipes on the allotment had burst and we had these incredible ice formations on the ground. Don't that look stunning? But it gets better. Just look at that. Just look at these pictures. They are, I'm going to make them bigger because they're worth it. They just look absolutely stunning. And there you go. Isn't nature amazing when this happens? Frozen water turns into this crescendo of ice. A big word, isn't it? Crescendo. And carry on. I was absolutely blown away with these pictures. Just amazing what happens. Digwell has got this month's gift pack. I know a few people have not got theirs yet. Here we are 11 days in. They were sent 12 days ago. I know there's been Royal Mail strikes, so that does seem to have delayed some people, and I apologise for that. I'm looking in to see if we can try another way. But he's also got this very frosted greenhouse. And his comment was about the fact that this greenhouse has got polycarbonate glass instead of normal glass. And the polycarbonate will hold on to the heat. It's like a double glazing compared to glass. If this was glass, all that heat would have melted the ice on the outside. This is what his suggestion was. As you can see, this is how cold it was in there. I can't quite see in that picture, but it was pretty cold on the inside, but not as cold as it was outside. Now, Stuart, who has been on the zapping, he shared this picture of his garden covered in frost. He says everyone's garden looks the same when it is covered in frost and snow. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. How beautiful does it look when it is covered in frost like this? Stephen has got this frosted cabbage on the allotment. I think that might be a Chinese cabbage, but I could be wrong. But again, it just looks stunning again, doesn't it? Just looks stunning. Frost has a lot of things to answer for. Keep sending your photos in. You can post them in our Facebook group, send them to us via social media, or email me, richard@veggrowerpodcast.co.uk. So yeah, lots of photos that are going in. Have a quick look. Oracle says Nokia 3330. Never missed a beat in years. I might have to try and get my old Nokia 330 out and see what happens. Ernie says that's amazing. I think that's either the wreaths or the ice. Absolutely, it was absolutely stunning. Anna says, lovely wreaths, Kate. Indeed, they are lovely wreaths. Is anybody else making their wreaths at the moment as well? Let us know in the comments if you are, or you can zap in. I'll add the link in the comments if you want to zap in and show yours off. Turbo Stream, my seeds arrived yesterday. Took 2 weeks. I could walk it quicker. It is so frustrating how long it's taken. I'll be honest with you. I know there's been strikes going on. But yeah, Kate, my seeds arrived yesterday too. That's still 11 days taken. So yeah. Ian Bellows, I got mine this week. Can't wait to do the tomatoes. Indeed, I think I would wait until March with those tomatoes. They're a nice present from Digwell, but we'll see. Turbo Stream, we'll give the Digwell Toms a go too, indeed. Turbo Stream, nice photos this week, indeed. Let me just get that one out the way because we don't deal with that. And Ian Bellows, change your graphic, Richard. Sure, it said it wrong. I noticed that as well. I spelled podcast wrong on that. I noticed it as well. So apologies for that. I'm going to have a swig of my coffee. This coffee has gone cold. I made it just before I went live, and it's gone cold. But hey, it's something at least. Anyway, back to this wreath, which is starting to come together. I feel I'm quite happy with how it's looking. So I'm not very artistic. It does need a bit of colour, though. It does need a bit of colour. What can I add to add a bit of colour that I have lying around? I was going to save this till the last thing. So I was going to hang this up. It's our Christmas logo in a Christmas decoration. So I thought that might go in the middle, like this. Let me hold it up and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Hold it up like that. That looks good, doesn't it? That looks pretty good, actually. That's added a nice bit of colour. So I'm going to tie that in again with a bit of wire. Where's the wire? Just seen Mr. Skinny Jean Garner has joined. Hello, buddy. Hope you are well. Long time no see, I could say, but yesterday. So cut a bit of wire off. And we're going to try and tie that into the center. Tie this in. So let's bring this up and have a look at what it looks like. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. Twist that round again. So, now, what else can I add? What else can I add? Final thing that I brought in with me is some cinnamon sticks. I thought I would add those. They've got a bit of a Christmassy feel to them. So how can we add these in? Right. So Stuart is saying our post is very bad even if we don't have a strike. My seeds will get here soon. I hope so. Ian Benno says, who's that skinny fella? Indeed. Merry Christmas. Never did think I'd see the day Richard Suggett does Christmas. Indeed. I never thought I'd see the day either. Kate Spratt says, it looks fab. Fantastic. Thank you very much. And Stuart says, as the children would say, that's well good. Thank you. It's very kind. I think, let's bring the overhead camera on so we can get a rough sort of idea how it looks. Oh, I've left all the too late to fiddle around with that. I'm thinking the cinnamon could go like that. A couple of pieces of cinnamon like that. Yeah. That piece of wire was too thin, so I'm going to try and get a longer piece. So how's everybody else's wreath making coming along at the moment? Is anybody else making them as we go? Anybody else doing it? Is it coming together nicely? Let us know in the comments. Let's try tying this in. I should show you what I'm doing. It's trying to tie this cinnamon stick with this wire. If I can twist it together, that is, we'll be laughing. For some reason, I can't quite get it. Oh, my nutmeg just fell out. And so did my cinnamon stick. There we go. There we go. Got that. Let's try and pop that nutmeg back into place. I'll try tightening that back up. Try the same again with the other cinnamon. There's a few comments coming in. What have we got? Don't know. Children would say that. Oh, that's well good. I think I read that one. Lost after Stuart zapped in. Oh, what's that? You got lost after Stuart zapped in. I think Stuarts would say, "Come on, sir, we can do better." I'd agree. I'd agree. But you know what? It's the first time. Richard, don't let Lee steal this one for one of his success plans. No, this is a Veg Grower podcast special. We're going to call this one. Right. But I like this idea. I spoke about this on the podcast the other day about how we can use our gardens to make Christmas presents for, especially with the cost of living crisis going on and so many people, struggling to afford things, especially Christmas and heat in their homes, which at the moment is pretty important. I don't know how anybody could be surviving in this cold without some form of heating in their house. So the whole idea of making Christmas presents or Christmas decorations even like this has got to be a good one, I think, anyway. Here we go. Right. So what do we think? What do we think? Does that look okay to you guys? I ask it because I'm not a it needs a bit of color. It needs something, doesn't it? It needs something, and I can't think what it needs. As I say, I'm not a very artistic person, so I'm learning this as we go along. But it needs something just to add a bit of color. What have we got that we can add some color? Any suggestions are welcome. Right, I'm going to sit on that and think for a minute and have a swig of coffee. Now, next week, we're coming up, getting ready for next week's show. Next week, I want to know what vegetables you've managed to grow for your Christmas dinner. I'm getting this in early because getting the conversation back on and going again. But that's what we're going to be talking about next week. And if anybody's got any photos or videos, they feel free to send them in as well. Week after, of course, is our Christmas quiz. I've got a huge selection of questions that we have got for that. If anybody would be willing, I could send them a question that they can make a video so I could play it in to ask. That would be great. Let me know if anybody would be interested in doing that for me as well. It's only 2 weeks to go today till Christmas. Oh, Anne's just said a good suggestion, dried chilies. Yes, I didn't think of that. I've got chilies indoors. That's a very good suggestion I could add to this. I will add dried chilies to this to add a bit of colour. Red and greens. Good one. Yeah. Red and greens, indeed. Very Christmassy as well, red and greens. I like that. Has anybody this weekend ventured out to their gardens or allotment is my next question as well. I have not managed to go to our allotment at all this weekend. Did a bit in the garden today, but to be honest, because the ground is frozen, there's not much I could really do. So I spent a bit of time inside our greenhouse in our allotment, our shed, just trying to tend to various things that we could do in there. Although even then, it's cold. Toby Stream, I've got a year on my plot photo slideshow to send in next week. That would be fantastic, Turbo. That would be absolutely fantastic. Love to see that next week. I was trying to see which one works better, i.e. Facebook or YouTube for our Q&A in the new year. I'm happy to do a question video as I will not be about on Christmas Day as I have a house full of family. Okay, is that Stuart, I take it? I can send you a question. If you can just make a video of you asking that question, that would be great. Turbo Stream says, I've not been to my plot since Monday. I feel the same. I've not been to my plot since last week. Was it last Saturday? The trouble is, at the moment, I finish work and it's dark, so I can't go to the allotment. I get up in the morning, I go to work, it's dark, or it's just starting to get light. So I only really have weekends when I can go to the allotment. And this icy cold weather, I don't mind so much being cold. It's more the risk of injury. I mean, I wrap up warm, plenty of layers, hat, gloves, etc., etc. So it's not so much being cold, but down on the allotment, there is a risk, of course, to injury to myself, which might be getting an ambulance out or something, which I feel is a little bit tricky for what happens. But it's also, for me, more the risk. You can't really do much outside when it's this cold because the ground structure, you try and dig in through a frozen ground, it's like digging through ice, and you damage that structure of the soil. You try pruning or tending to some plants and trees, they can get injured by the cold and the frost. So I'm a little bit holding off on going out gardening when it is cold and frozen like it is today. But has anybody else ventured down to their allotment or their gardens this weekend? Here at home, again, I've not done anything in the garden really, apart from just doing a bit of tidying up. Whatever Stuart used to zap in was a clearer picture than you have. That's possibly because I've seen all night my signal is just a little bit low. It's not quite as good as we had last week. So that's probably what was going on there. I mean, it looks crystal clear on my screen, of course, but I don't know what's going out from the software I use, the plan that I use. StreamYard is what I use to go live stream. I go to StreamYard and then that puts it out to everybody else, if that makes sense. So to me, it looks nice and crystal clear. I mean, I know the background's defocused, but that's to be expected. We'll see how it is in the pub when we do that on Christmas Day. Anybody knows how I did the pub last year? It's in for a treat. Yeah, is Nicola out there? I know she's struggling in the cold, so I saw her earlier saying she was under an electric blanket. Is she okay? A little bit worried about that. So I hate it hearing people cold. Oracle, we nearly had to dig to get dug out. Any ice, the car is like an F1 car. Yeah, it does slip and slide. I mean, I'm not looking forward to going to work tomorrow with all this ice. I'm hoping it's going to thaw out a little bit. But again, I won't go down to the allotment when it's like this. We've got a road into the allotment, but it's a mud and track around the outside edges. So I've got my van stuck in there a couple of times. We're not going to do that again. We'll see. But just risk with the allotments. I took a walk to the local hills in the weeks. I could see into Wales, the Black Mountains. How lovely, how lovely. We went on a walk yesterday. It was quite a nice day for walking yesterday, but the ground was frozen. Stream, I tried a bike ride too. My feet and hands were freezing. I bet they were. I bet they were. And Stuart says, I was thinking about which woods to use for your wreath. Maybe fruit wood when you are pruning. The thinner, the better. That's a good idea, actually. I am wondering the same thing. I mean, hazel works because I do grow hazel to try and get hazelnuts and for hazel sticks. But also, I'm wondering about apple and pear and cherry and other fruits to make a wreath like this. Like this. Let's say, I think we had some chilies, some dried chilies, which I can't do at the moment, but we'll add some dried chilies to that, and that should just add a nice bit of colour. I'm not happy with this piece sticking out like that, but what do you think? Let me know in the comments. Oracle says, you will be okay, Richard. Plenty of weight in the front of the fan. I'm losing weight, thank you very much. I'm losing weight. I'm on a health kick again. Well, always on a health kick. Trouble is, I like my food, but that's why I grow it. Turbo Stream, today has been grey, miserable and cold. The lure of the log burner is very strong at the moment. Yeah, we had to turn our heating on for the first time this week. We've got fireplaces that we've been burning a lot of wood on, but we're trying not to use the heating in this. We really have to. Now, Anne has come away, and of course, 11 degrees C in here in Montreal, but no ice or snow at the moment. Bit jealous of your snow. I would use the time. Well, I don't know about anybody else, but the snow that we had here, it didn't set. It turned to slush on the roads. It's very rare we even get that sort of snow here, but I wouldn't be jealous of our snow. I'm always jealous of the snow you guys get out in Canada, where it's such a fluffy snow. Is that the right one? It's like a dry snow, I guess, is how it's been described to me. Turbo Stream, have you any colourful foliage you could use? I did think about perhaps some rosemary or some thyme, but again, I didn't feel, with it being so cold, it was the right time to prune those and trim some of those. Perhaps a bit of sage. A bit of sage could have gone well in that as well, couldn't it? Or mint, and added to that, they could dry out. Ian Bellows, Christmas night, can we have mince pie eating contest? I'm sure we can do to that. I mean, yeah. Rebecca loves the rosemary idea. Yeah, I did think rosemary, funny enough, when I was coming into this shed, but just slightly wrong time to start pruning the rosemary. It might do some damage with how cold it is. But rosemary, sage, thyme, I think they would work really well. I was almost wondering about actually making the wreath out of rosemary as well, to try and use those sticks for that and try and weave it into a circle. But then I sort of figured rosemary, as it dries, the leaves turn that color and go brittle, so may not be such a good idea. But if you're only using it for the time being for Christmas decoration, it might work if your rosemary is big enough. Lavender could work as well. Had a bit of greenery to it, bit of color to it. Any other ideas? I do like the chili ideas as well. That's probably one of my favorites, partly because I do like chilies. Dried tomatoes, sun-dried tomatoes. That could work in that as well as a bit of color. Oracle says, I hope you're not going to dress up as Santa, Richard. No, I won't be doing that. It's going to be Christmas Day. Santa will be asleep by that point after finishing his night's work. Yeah, a bit of colour to this wreath. I'm going to bring it up from the bottom again just to show it off. Let me get that into a little bit of a better position. Really happy with how well this has turned out. Just needs a little bit of colour, I feel. I like all the pine cones. Yep. Trouble with pine cones is that Roxy would eat them if we're not careful. I'm just going to check that phone. Still no signal. What's going on with that? And right, walnuts. That's a good idea as well. Walnuts could be something else we could use to decoration. Again, a food source, so that's a good one. Rose hips. That's a good idea. Would they? I wonder if we can dry rose hips as well to make them last. A good suggestion. I like that. Kate says pine cones. I collected extras, Re. So mash some bird seed mixed with lard for the birds. Yep. Good idea indeed. Good idea indeed. Or if Roxy gets hold of them, that's a chewing stick for the night as well. Flowering ivy with its berries. Go on. Go on. Good idea. And Rebecca says, got any thistles? This holly is sharp enough for thistles, but thistles I think can be very attractive as well. Oracle says, if you walk through a forest, you would get endless ideas. Yeah, yeah. Another thing I'm thinking is saffron flowers. If anybody's ever seen the crocus flowers, those purple ones, we could add some of those for a bit of purple, bit of colour as well. Saffron strands could be added, but anybody who knows how much saffron strands cost and how little you get when you grow your own, you wouldn't want to do that too much because of how much money you're basically flushing or wasting effectively. I don't know if anybody does grow saffron out there. I grow a lot of saffron, or try to grow a lot of saffron. It's one of my favourites. Nicholas says teasels. Teasels added to that. That could work. Teasels. Trouble is with this time of year, it's very, very bland, isn't it? With in terms of colour, there's not much really giving us much colour. I know we've been very lucky with November being such a warm, dry season. Warm, dry. Well, November, sorry, was very warm but wet. So we did get quite a bit of colour right up until December, but now it's certainly gone. And there's not much really giving us colour at the moment, except for all the different colours would. Oracle says seashells. That's an idea. Could go down for a walk on the beach and get some seashells, oyster shells as well, or some clam shells. They could be added to that. That could work. Snail shells. If anybody has any snail shells that are lying around, could they work in a Christmas wreath or any type of wreath? I like these ideas. Keep sharing your ideas of things that we could add to add a bit of colour and add a bit of change to it. Anne says, I definitely use fat rose hips from my climbing roses. Indeed, yeah. Rose hips makes a beautiful rose hip jam, doesn't it? I love rose hips. Variegated ivy with yellow or whitey cream, color with a deep green. Yeah, definitely. Ivy is one of those easy plants to grow. I know Lee, when he used to recommend growing ivy on some of his talks, and he was suggested not to start recommending ivy so much because it's so cheap and easy to grow, but I think it's such a good thing as well. Cotton Easter or pyracantha berries, that's a good point. They are good ones. Willow for the round, then beech wreath too. Beech wreath indeed. Yeah, especially with that white papery outer as well. If there's any way we could use that. A few fern leaves for texture. Yes, fern leaves, especially at the moment when they go in brown. I quite like the look of ferns when they start to go brown. Snail shells with yellow in there for colouring. Absolutely, yeah. Snail shells added to that, indeed. Rebecca, hydrangea heads would give it some nice colour. Hydrangea heads, good idea. Buddleia, some buddleia. In fact, I'm just thinking, I've got this, I hate it, but I've got this buddleia plant just out there which self-seeded itself, and I'm constantly trying to kill it off because it just pots other little plants everywhere else, self-seeds everywhere else. But that could work for making a wreath as well. Those long, thin, whippy sticks. You can use any greenery you like. rose hips, ivy berry plus holly berries. Yeah. I'm liking the ideas that are coming out. Hydrangeas are great, Rebecca, especially when you pick them when they still have colour. Yeah, absolutely. And dried flowers or anything like that. It's got the ideas flowing, hasn't it? Keep these ideas going of things that you could add to this Christmas wreath, or if you're making your own Christmas wreath. Is any? I think I've asked. I don't never got an answer if anybody is making a wreath as we watch along. But is anybody else going to make a wreath over this next week based on what we've seen tonight, and with the ideas that are coming through with all this decoration that we can? I'm actually going to pop this one up in here somewhere when I've finished. I'll add some chili to it and what have you, and we'll place it in here. So, well, next week we'll be in here, and then we'll bring it into the other studio when we do the pub quiz. Nicola says Golden Beach as another suggestion. Good idea. Stuart Jackson is flirting with everyone's mind tonight. Indeed, this is what we want, though. I do want more ideas. Witch hazel. Yep, that could work. Witch hazel, beautiful colour stems, isn't it? Rebecca, yes, I'm going to make one next weekend. Fantastic. That's what I want to hear. Please do share with us some pictures of your wreath when you've made it. Good. Nicola, but not while I'm in bed, but we'll make a wreath again. Yeah, if you're in bed trying to keep warm, it's not the good idea to come out and do this. Only crazy people come out to their shed in the middle of a freezing cold environment. Turbo Extreme, if I have time, I might have a go over the next couple of weeks. Please do give it a go and share your pictures if you do. I will be making one or two at school this week, plus a few Willow Christmas tree photos to follow. That'd be great. Yeah, love the snowman. This is great. This is something I think. I'm surprised how well they came together and we managed to do it on this live stream. And I think, as I said earlier, and I've said on the podcast, with so many people financially struggling at the moment, the fact that we can make these things pretty much the whole next year to give away as Christmas presents just really, really rings a bell to me at the moment. With so many people financially struggling and trying to do what I can. I'm a big believer that as grow your owners, we are able to support ourselves and many other friends and families by growing our own food. The fact that we can do this with Christmas decorations or Christmas presents as well, I just feel it takes it up to another level, which is absolutely fantastic and would be great. I'm definitely going to add some chilies to this. Yeah. So Anne says, I live in the country and tie pheasant feathers. I find into clusters and add it to my wreath. Also use dried poppy seed heads. Yeah. This is great. Yeah, great. Pheasant feathers. Beautiful colours, aren't they, on the pheasants? Ian says, I got a plastic door. I can't nail it up. Well, I'm not nailing mine up. I'm using wire to hold mine up, or I might just hook it on one of the hooks on the back here. Nicola says, not very green, but my friend used glittery nail varnish on the tips of cones to give some sparkle. If you're using it more than once, and I feel that is more eco-friendly than not, but I get what you mean. Turbo Stream, a few sprigs of Hebe. Oh, good idea. Yeah, Hebe, or some of the winter. Oh God, I've forgotten the name of it. It'll come to me. I can picture them. You find them in moorlands. Heathers, and some of the coloured heathers. That would look good. Use a wire over the door or string. Yeah. Or through the letterbox, I've seen people do as well. I'm happy to do a live workshop on a Sunday evening in the spring if anyone is up for it. Yeah, we'll try and do that. Hopefully the weather will get better so we get a better signal. Anna Jones, for scent Christmas box is lovely. Yes. I mean, scent is, I feel, quite an important part That's why I love herbs so much. Yeah. Mistletoe. Yeah, mistletoe, if you can get hold of it. Got to be careful with mistletoe, I've heard. Something about some of it being poisonous to animals or something. I could be wrong on that, thinking about it, because birds eat mistletoe berries. I have a nice purple hebe in my garden. I think that nice purple hebe would best go nice. Kate says, it's just so nice to see more natural decorations, less of all this plastic rubbish. I agree. I do agree. And, you know, I like the natural look, and I feel the more we can encourage people by doing it and showing us doing it, the better. But also, I like the fact that we can do this from stuff in our gardens. For me, that's a big thing at the moment. Even as a weight on the end might work. Yeah, indeed. Stuart says, great idea, put herbs into the wreath. I'm thinking herbs would work really well. Rebecca, I would like to do one with just lavender. It would smell lovely. Yeah, lavender, rosemary, sage. I think they would all go lovely into this. I'm going to have to make some more of these. I can't believe, Stuart, what you've done to me. I'm Mr. Grinch here. That is me when it comes to Christmas. And you've got me making Christmas decorations. This is mad. Mistletoe Millard will get with the wrong with the wrong ideas. Yeah, that's the trouble with mistletoe, isn't it? Anne says, absolutely reject Christmas plastic tat. I'm with you. Everybody knows my thoughts on garden centres at this time of year. I had to go in a garden centre the other day, and I hated it because of the amount of plastic Christmas tat that was for sale. And everybody's entitled to their own opinions, of course. I don't mean any offence by that, but I cannot stand it. I'm sooner get into a garden centre for natural products. Ian, you can, but removable self-adhesive hooks now. What they called? Command strips are the good thing to look at as well. Dried orange slices and lemons. Good suggestion. Dried orange slices and lemons. That's what I was going to use. We do have dried oranges that we've used for decorations in the past. We've got a dehydrator where we dried orange slices and lemon slices in the past. And I'm not sure where they've gone. Otherwise, I would have made some more this week, but we're not sure where they've gone. Even dried peel from what you've eaten, twist before you dry and then attach to the wreath. That's a good idea. Orange peel or lemon peel, dried and twisted. Yeah, good thinking there. Pine cones, if you have a tree local to you. Yeah, we've got quite a few in our local cemetery. We go through there. Roxy normally picks the pine cones up, admittedly. So yeah, plenty there. Did anyone say cinnamon sticks? Yeah, I use cinnamon sticks myself. I've got a nice big jar of cinnamon sticks, and I actually added 2 to the one I made. I don't know if you were here at the time, Anne, but we got one there and one there. They're just a bit lost in the decoration, I feel. It got to add a bit of colour to this, as I said earlier, but we've got ideas for that. What else have we got? Nicola, pine in my meadow, so very local. LOL. Indeed, you can't get much more local than that. Turbo, I wonder what they used in World War II. Might be worth a Google. That generation were masters at not wasting anything. That's a good point, and I'm always fascinated with what people did during World War II in order to garden and survive, basically. So yeah, what did they do? What did they do during that time? Good question there, Turbo Stream. I'll have to do some research. Pine cones are great for the barbecue. They're great on the fireplace as well. They give off quite a bit of heat, and burn for quite a long time. Obviously, I know fireplaces aren't exactly eco-friendly at the moment, but with the cost of heating at the moment, I think people are struggling. Kate says dried fibres from after harvesting, like sweet corn, and then use a natural dye like beetroot, can be waved into a shape or string for bows. Kate, actually, because Kate did this course yesterday, I think it was. So Kate probably got lots of ideas of what we could use for natural homemade products anyway. So that's a good thinking there. And natural dyes like beetroot, or there's a plant called wood that's very good for dyeing products as well, making dye. I think it's a herb. I've never grown it before myself, and I think it's not an edible. It's purely for making dyes from. But definitely good suggestions there. Right. Keep your suggestions coming in, guys. And I am warming my hands up on this heater because it is really getting cold again. I'm wondering, what has it dropped? No, it hasn't dropped. It just feels like it has dropped in temperature. I mean, even I've got LED lights in here. They don't give out any heat anymore either. Dried bracken as firms may wilt quickly. I like dried bracken though. I do like dried bracken. I use pine cone as firelighter until Christmas. Can I wish everyone luck with their wreaths? I am always available for advice, says Stuart. Indeed. Yeah. If anybody does want any advice on these wreaths, contact Stuart. Probably the best way is to go into our Facebook group and mention it to him there in this. You can contact him directly, of course. Coleman due next week. It's so cold here. Yeah, I mean, I think the cost of heating, I try not to go on down or talk about the cost of heating because it seems like a lot of people are talking about it, but the cost of heating has led so many people to go through heating their ways in other places. So it's great for us because it means my huge collection of wood that I've been saying I'm going to burn is now being burnt and going through it. It's tidying up my garden quite nicely. Oh, but it's really dropping in temperature. We've got 10 minutes to go, guys. I'm annoyed with the phone not working. I'm really annoyed with that because I can see there's what's going on with it. Mobile data. Let's try that. See if that makes any difference. Oracle says, I will be in contact, Stuart, if that's okay. Oh, we got phone signal now. We have got phone signal. So if anybody does want to call in for this last 10 minutes, I'll put the phone number up. Not that one. It is that one. It's fine if you don't have any, if that it's heated, of course, says Nicola. Yeah, I can imagine. Will your phone work on WhatsApp? Possibly. I don't have WhatsApp on it, so I don't know. But the phone has just got a signal, just kicked in. It's quite low, but we'll see. If anybody does want to call in for the next, finish off our last 10 minutes, then the phone number is 07307 135 174. We'll see. What's next week's subject, Richard? So next week I'm asking the question, what have you managed to grow for your Christmas dinner this year? I think next week is going to be a good time just to evaluate and see what everyone has done. So, and as it's Christmas the week after, perfect chance. The week after, of course, Christmas, we've got the Christmas quiz coming out. So that's the next 2 weeks content planned out for us. Don't forget, if anybody ever wants to suggest a subject, then please feel free. I try and keep a track of some of the suggestions, but I often lose track of trying to write things down. So sometimes it's best to send me a message or email me with some suggestions of some topics, especially if we can get all you guys to participate more into it as well. That's even better. because it's all about, for me, this is all about you guys participating and making a show what it is. Toby Stream says, I stocked up last spring with smokeless coal and wood when Peter did his thing. Yeah, I mean, I've been stocking up with wood for years by accident. So now I'm just glad that it's paying off. And it's keeping us sort of warm. It's not as good as central heating, I've got to admit, but it is keeping us warm. Again, this is something that makes me wonder. We were talking about the World War II generation when gas and did they have gas pumped to the house? I guess they didn't. But it's all makes us wonder just how people survived without what we have as luxuries this day in age. You know, I know open fires were a big thing, kerosene heaters, and things like that did that. So Margaret says, hi Richard, some great ideas for wreath making. Well done. I'm just wondering if everyone will be joining you on Christmas Day. Is it worth a head count so not too many miss the quiz? Up to you, of course, but could do New Year's Day. Now we're doing it on Christmas Day because there's some people in my audience who are on their own that day. So we're definitely doing it on Christmas Day, and that's when we're going to be doing the quiz. New Year's Day, I've got an idea that we're going to be doing what's your New Year's resolution in the garden sort of thing. I've got to work on that, but that's the idea. Trying hard to ripen the last of a tomato, stuck a banana in the basket with them in the window. So, good point. Yeah, I think you're going to struggle to get those to ripen now, Ian, if in all honesty. Banana does work. What I might suggest, you can make things like green tomato chutney, which is delicious. And you can actually use green tomatoes in cooking as well. So you might want to look at that. They don't necessarily need to be ripened to be edible. The skin's a bit tougher, I find, but that might be something you want to look at. Green tomato chutney or green tomatoes on toast is something I've heard of. Alan says, I've just made chili jam from plants I was given by a friend. I'd love a masterclass on which chilies to grow. Different degrees of heat and which chilies are good for what purpose. That's a good one. That's a very good one, actually. That I will look into. I'll have to find a chili growing expert to come on with that. Even though times are hard, previous generations had it a lot worse. I agree. I do agree. We yeah, there's always going to be, it was worse back in our day, etc., etc. So it's not a competition, of course. It's not a competition. Toby Stream, I will be absent on Christmas Day. Family tea at my brother says. Fair enough. As I said, it's I'm not expecting a huge audience on Christmas Day, but those that are there, it's going to be good to see you anyway, and hopefully we'll have some fun. Oh, it certainly is cold. I only got 5 minutes to go. I'm just checking that phone still. Have we still got signal? Signal just dropped out at that point as I looked at it there. I know the weather does affect phone signals. It's probably why we got poor phone signal or internet signal, but can't do much about that. Nicholas says, I brought into my lounge a wood stove for tents. I love those. They're good. A homemade flue up the chimney, some wood from my stash. Hadn't realised there were wasps sleeping in there. Had 2 buzzings around my lounge 2 nights ago. Yeah, that's unexpected, isn't it, when you have wasps in your chimney? We always try and get our chimneys swept out just sort of September, October time. So we always know it's safe. But yeah, wasps, that's an unusual one. I'm not sure how to deal with that as well. Everybody knows I don't like disturbing animals at the best of times, but sometimes you have to. Nicola is one that's home alone, so that we're definitely doing a live show on Christmas Day for everybody. Great idea about the chilies. I never know which ones to grow. Yeah, I'm gonna go and find a chili expert to join me on that live show as well. Thank you, Richard and Stuart. See you on Christmas Day. Remember the joy, Nokia 330 3330. I can't pronounce it tonight. Never has let me down. Yeah. Maybe Olive can zap in Christmas evening and tell us what Santa has brought her. She might be a bit busy, but we'll see. We'll see. They were in wood box. They were in a wood box, the wasps. Was the wooden box up your chimney? That's a little bit worrying, isn't it? I mean, I know wasps, excuse me, wasps eat wood, don't they? Or they harvest wood in some ways. Turbo Stream 11 days till the shortest day. I cannot wait to get some more light. Cannot wait to get some more longer days when I wake up in the morning and it's, you know, there's still time in the morning to do something, or when you get home from work, there's still time to go to the allotment. I cannot, or still daylight to go to the allotment, I should say, when I finish work. So, yeah, cannot wait. Firewood brought in a box is where the wasps were. With you on that, indeed. Stuart, I used to have a Nokia 3310 that could be dropped and still work. I know they were good phones, those, weren't they? But the mornings get darker till mid-January. That is very true, isn't it? It's the daylight gets longer, but it gets darker later. It's weird. Just the way the Earth's rotation around the sun makes its difference. Anyway, we are at the end of tonight's show. I'm going to show off my wreath one more time, but the nutmeg just fell out again. But tune in next week where we will add a bit of colour to it, and I will show you just how it is looking and where it'll be in here somewhere, how well it is located. So obviously next week, as I say, what have you grown for your Christmas dinner? Get your photos in, get your videos in for that, as well as I want to see what Christmas wreaths you have made using your own, or based on the back of what we've done tonight. One more time, that's my Christmas wreath. I'm very happy with it. Just needs a little bit of colour to smarten it up. Right. Nicola says, thanks, Richard and all. Turbo Stream, well done, Richard, for sticking with it in the freezer. Yeah, my feet are absolutely frozen, so I'm looking forward to going and warming up. We'll be back again next Sunday at 6 o'clock. Hopefully it'll be a bit warmer for everybody, including myself. So please do join us then, and what have you. Lots of content coming out this week with various things on our various channels, be it podcasts or videos. So please keep your eye out for that. So until next time, guys, you take care, keep warm, keep safe, and we'll see you then. I just realised I'm saying all that without actually setting myself out ready to go. That's what I want. Yeah, right, that's it. You take care, guys. See you again.